evening and welcome to KJ News TV. We begin tonight with breaking news from Somalia, where U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he personally ordered airstrikes targeting the Islamic State, IS group in the region. In a social media post, Trump declared that the strikes targeted a senior IS attack planner and several operatives, stating that these individuals were hiding in caves and posed a direct threat to the United States and its allies. He emphasized that the attack resulted in the destruction of the caves and the deaths of numerous terrorists, while ensuring no harm to civilians. The strikes were carried out in the Golis Mountains, a remote and rugged region in northern Somalia. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the operation, calling it a significant blow to IS in Somalia. Our initial assessment is that multiple operatives were killed in the airstrikes, and no civilians were harmed, Hegseth said in a statement. He further explained that the strikes would weaken IS's ability to plan and execute future terrorist attacks. Trump also used this opportunity to take aim at the Biden administration, accusing President Joe Biden and his team of failing to act swiftly against the IS target. The U.S. military had been tracking this planner for years, but Biden and his cronies did nothing. "I did," Trump stated. This latest operation follows a previous U.S. strike in 2023, under Biden's leadership, that resulted in the death of his leader Bilal al-Sudani along with 10 of his operatives. The Islamic State group, which gained global notoriety in the 2010s, has since lost significant ground in the Middle East but remains active in parts of Africa, including Somalia. The Somali branch of IS was formed in 2015 by defectors from the al-Qaeda-linked al-Shabaab group and is known for extorting local populations and conducting sporadic attacks. While it is smaller than al-Shabaab, IS in Somalia continues to pose a security threat. The U.S. has maintained an active military presence in Somalia, targeting jihadist groups that threaten stability in the region. Officials say operations like this send a clear message that terrorist groups planning attacks against the U.S. and its allies will be pursued and eliminated. And Israel 3 Israeli hostages released in exchange for 183 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Yarden Bibas, 34, Ofa Calderon, 53, and Keith Siegel, 65, were handed over to the Red Cross as part of a ceasefire deal struck last month. The release marked a more organized handover compared to Thursday's chaotic exchange. The men were greeted by crowds in Khan Yunis, Gaza, while flanked by armed Hamas fighters. The event emphasized Hamas control in Gaza, with a banner featuring slain Hamas leaders. The hostages' return sparked mixed emotions, with families expressing both joy and concern over their health. In Ramallah, Palestinian prisoners freed from Israeli detention were met with jubilant crowds. Nasrallah Muammar, released after 17 years, expressed joy despite the hardships endured. Some of the prisoners had served long sentences, with critics accusing Israel of imprisoning individuals without charge. The release took place in the context of a broader ceasefire and prisoner exchange deal, which also saw the reopening of the Rafah crossing. However, the situation in Gaza remains dire, with significant destruction caused by Israeli airstrikes. Families returning to northern Gaza are facing catastrophic damage, with many displaced Palestinians forced to relocate again. The ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas, which began on January 19, also includes provisions for humanitarian aid. Hundreds of trucks carrying food and medical supplies have been allowed into Gaza daily. The Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt reopened for the first time in 8 months, allowing 50 critically ill patients to leave for treatment in Egypt. Meanwhile, thousands of displaced Palestinians are returning to northern Gaza, only to find their homes destroyed. Many, like Ashraf al-Dous, are forced to move south again due to the devastation. So thanks for watching KJ News. See you in the next news.